This is a silver spoon. I am going to attempt to turn this into a ring. There are all kinds of tutorials out there, if you Google coin ring, on how to turn coins into rings. But I was looking for a silver coin, but I couldn't find any. And I have this spoon kicking around, a couple of them actually, that are made out of silver. So I'm going to flatten this out and apply the same techniques that people use to make coin rings on this silver ring. On this silver spoon, and see if I can turn it into a ring. So some of the basic tools. I got a mallet here that's rubberized, and then it's a soft blow, so it doesn't dent the metal. I have a ring mandrel. If you don't have a ring mandrel, you can attempt to use what they call a drift pin. I believe this is a drift pin. What they use this for is to align bolts up on plates. So you can pick up one of these really cheap. Although, depending on how big your finger is, this might not be big enough. So you might need to get a big one. But a ring mandrel certainly goes all the way up to size 16 from like size 1. So we'll see how this goes. First up, flatten the ring. Or I should say, flatten the spoon. I apologize for the light in here. I got some weird shadows going on, so hopefully this comes out. But you'll get the gist of how to do this. So I'm going to flatten out this ring with my mallet here. I'm just going to gently work at it. What you might want to do is anneal it. Also, I forgot to mention, you'll need a torch. So you need a good blowtorch just to do some annealing. So I'm going to anneal this, and because it's silver, you gotta just heat it slowly and then quench it. So I have some water here to quench. You don't want to burn the silver, because if you burn it, what ends up happening is it starts to blister. I don't have any blisters, this is just some scale. But if you overheat it, it'll blister, and that's not good. You basically have ruined it. So I'm gently just start working at this. They're starting to flatten out now. Okay, that's getting fairly good. I got a little crease in here. I'm going to just pound at that some more, and then I'm going to draw a circle and cut that out. So I'll come back once I get this straightened out a bit more. That's not going to bother to show it, because it's pretty simple. Just keep pounding away at it. Tapping, I should say. Okay, I got it flattened out pretty good. I have a quarter here as my template. I'm going to trace this out. Could almost get 2 out of this, just in case I make a mistake. It's pretty thin. I don't know how well this is going to work. I might crash and burn, or I might be successful. So I'm going to see if I can try to get 2 out of this. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken a quarter and I've traced it around. Then I took a digital caliper and measured the width of a quarter and then halved it. So half of it is 11.9 millimeters. And then what I did, and this isn't going to be super accurate, but I think there's enough precision that I should be okay, is that I've taken the caliper and lined it up with the edge of the template, the circle that I drew from the quarter, and then I've done multiple lines all the way around so that I had multiple marks so I could find center. So I just did that all the way around. Oops. Set that. So that gives me a pretty good mark for center. I'm going to drill this out, and I'm going to drill it out using a step bit so that it's about the size of the mandrel, end of the mandrel, or the drift pin, depending on how big you want to make the hole, because it's going to stretch. I should say it depends on how thick you want the ring. I want a ring not too thick, a couple millimeters, so I'm going to go with something in between. So I'm going to grab a drill bit and then drill this out. As a pilot. I'll do a pilot hole first, so I can get my automatic center punch. I'm going to place it right on the center. So it gives me a spot now to drill, so my drill bit won't drift. Okay, that gives me a hole. I'm going to move up progressively for the larger drill bits. Until I can use the step bit. So a step bit here will give me a nice size hole, and it should be fairly center. I use my sacrificial pieces of wood. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that, and what that gives me from this will be how wide the ring is. So you can make it narrower, you can make it wider. I might just make it just a tad bit bigger because I might not want it that wide. Just a little bit more. Okay, that looks, I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to clean up this inside edge here with a file, because, or sandpaper. You could use either or. Because if you don't, when you start whacking on it, and we'll get to that in a bit, any cracks that form will tear as you're punching down on the mandrel. So just take a few seconds just to clean up the little burrs or any micro cracks that might be there. Yeah, that feels nice. So when you rub your hand on it, it doesn't cut you. It's a good sign. Alright, next I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to start beating on it with the mandrel. I'm probably going to cut this out with a hacksaw or Dremel. Dremel would work really well for this, actually. Probably. And then I'm going to take it on a sander and just sand out the excess just to give me that nice edge. So I got my little belt sander here. Takes 30 or 42 inch belts. It's a really nice machine. It's a great sharpening system, but I'm going to use it as a sander. So I've used it for all kinds of stuff, so it's really handy. So, got my blank here. I'm just going to smooth out this edge on it before I cut out the rest with a hacksaw and then clean it up on this. I just do it now because I got this nice handle to hold on to. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know how much light there is in here. Don't know how the exposure on the camera is, but so clean that up. Now I'm gonna, hopefully this is in focus, clean this up a bit. So what I opted to do was to Dremel this out. Be quick and easy, hopefully. Okay, that made short work of that. So that's the beginnings of a slug for a ring. So I'm going to put it back on the belt sander. Okay, that's not too bad. That's looking pretty good. So, I'm not overly happy with how smooth or how true this is as a circle. The inside's fine because I used a step bit to drill that out. But the edge here, it's hard to get it perfectly round. So what I did was I made this little tiny jig. So it basically turns this into, well, a miniature, I guess, lathe, you could say. So I put tape around just an old bit that's round, or, well, in this case, hex, but anyways, so that I built it up so that this I could slip on, and there's a friction fit on the tape with the blank here, with the ring blank. And I'm just going to spin this out on some sandpaper, and it'll make it perfectly round. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Alright. So here is the blank now. I did a little bit more cleaning on it, just smoothed out the edges so it's not rough, so it's nice and smooth now. I'm going to measure it with the caliper. I get 6.4 on both sides. Looks good. .5. We're pretty good. Yep, 6.4. Okay, that looks pretty round to me. So the inside and the outside seems pretty round. Now we're going to start beating on it over the mandrel. Okay, let's say that now I already have the blank for me, but let's just say in your case you cut out the blank first and you need to get a hole in it. Well, it's really hard to drill a hole in this without marring it up or bending it all out of shape, because you could put it in the vise, but you're going to leave marks in it unless you have a perfectly smooth metal vise, like for the teeth, or I should say for the face here. Or you could put wood in it to hold it, but that doesn't always work that well. But I had a little creative solution here that will work for you. So I took 2 pieces of aluminum, because you want something softer than the metal you're working with. And this works really well for coins. So if you're trying to drill a hole in a coin, you can use this method. And I have 2, and basically this sits in like that. And then what I do is I tape this onto the vise. I'm not going to bother to actually tape it because I can hold it because I already have one here. And what I do is I just turn in the vise and line it up. And it holds it for me. And now I'm able to drill into it without having to worry about it moving. This works really well for coins. If you're like I'm using a spoon, but just wanted to mention that for a coin because it's really hard unless you have a punch to drill a hole in a coin. This is one more little tip to help you out.